Go one more question, because you really took the lead a couple of years ago on the condo reforms that are coming due this year. And we've really started to hear a lot from a lot of people who are finding that they probably will not be able to afford the condo that they've lived in, some of them for decades, some of them their retirement homes, and all in the wake of Surfside, all for the purpose of making sure those buildings are not going to fall down on them. Will there be anything coming down in the House to help people face that affordability crisis for some of them?
The topic of condominiums are going to be discussed once again. We've discussed them over the last several years, and not just the House, but the Senate as well. And I know you have Senator Pizzo coming up right after me, and I'm sure you'll ask him the same question. Of course, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to have that discussion. Where we end up, we don't know. What I can tell you is we aren't going to give out low-interest loans or no-interest loans. We aren't going to have any government bailouts. And just like any residential home in Westchester, in my own backyard that has to replace their roof, save for it, and eventually expense it, so do private property owners that own condominiums. Some of these condo owners haven't had an increase in associations in decades. That's not real life. Inflation exists no matter what. And so I do want to be sympathetic to the situation. Most of them are elderly. I get it. It's not that we're not listening, and it's not that we don't care. This isn't a partisan issue. This is a bipartisan issue.
100%
But we do have to understand it is not government's role to bail out private property owners that are in this position. That's how I see it, Glenna.
Understood. The different dynamic is your home is your decision, and when you live in a condo, there's a lot of other chefs in
They vote for their board.
They do.
And I got a call from
That's
a constituent.
a whole other segment we could
Her name was Barbara. She called me this week to the office, adamant to speak to me, and I spoke to her. And she's like, "Well, I don't like my board." And I said, "I wouldn't either if I were you." I said, "Have you decided why you don't run for office, or why don't you office of the association, of course, or at least vote for someone else?" Speak up. You have that say. And if you don't believe that you can make that change, get out of the condo. Go buy yourself a residential home where you are your own association board. But you have choices. No one's forcing you to be in this condominium.
A glimpse of what's to come. House Speaker Daniel